We all panic sometimes, burnt toast, lost keys, canceled shows, but some people take it to a whole new level. 911 is for real emergencies, but today, we're diving into the most ridiculous calls ever made. These are real stories that will make you laugh, cringe, and question humanity's common sense. Buckle up, let's get started. Our first tale is one that's as old as time itself. A curious cat, a towering tree, and a predicament that's played out in neighborhoods everywhere. Picture this, a sunny afternoon, birds chirping, and a claymation cat, let's call her Whiskers, decides to embark on a daring climb up the tallest tree in the yard. She's agile, she's fearless, and she's completely unaware of the chaos she's about to cause. Down below, Whiskers' owner is in full panic mode. Forget ladders or coaxing with treats. This pet parent is convinced that only the most dramatic solution will do. So, with a sense of urgency usually reserved for blockbuster movie finales, they dial emergency services and demand nothing less than a helicopter rescue for their beloved Feline. On the other end of the line, the emergency dispatcher is caught completely off guard. For a moment, they wonder if this is a prank call. After all, helicopters are typically reserved for life-and-death situations. Medical emergencies, search and rescue missions, maybe even the occasional lost hiker. But a cat in a tree? That's a new one. The dispatcher gently tries to explain that as much as they love animals, the chopper is strictly for human emergencies, not for Chairman Meow's latest adventure in vertical exploration. But the pet owner isn't giving up that easily. They argue passionately, citing emotional distress, the rights of taxpayers, and the undeniable importance of their cat's well-being. Surely, they insist, there must be some clause in the emergency handbook for feline rescues. The dispatcher, maintaining their composure, reassures the caller that Whiskers is likely to come down on her own, as cats almost always do. Still, the debate continues, with the owner convinced that only a full-scale aerial operation will suffice. Meanwhile, high above the drama, Whiskers is completely unfazed. After a few moments of contemplation, and perhaps a little showmanship, she decides she's had enough of the view. With the grace only a cat can muster, she makes her way down the tree, hops to the ground, and immediately begins grooming herself, as if nothing out of the ordinary has happened. The crowd below, which had been bracing for a high-flying rescue, is left in awe of her nonchalance. It's funny how a simple cat-in-a-tree scenario can reveal so much about people. Some see a cat perched among the branches and think, how adorable. Others immediately jump to, call the Pentagon, launch the rescue helicopters. It's a reminder that when it comes to our pets, logic sometimes takes a back seat to love, and maybe a little bit of panic. This story is proof that, for some folks, no rescue mission is too over the top when it comes to their furry friends. Whether it's a ladder, a cherry picker, or a full-blown helicopter, they'll stop at nothing to ensure their pet's safety, even if the pet in question is perfectly content and in no real danger at all. In the end, Whiskers was just fine. No helicopter required, no emergency protocols needed. Sometimes, the simplest solution is to trust that cats, with their 9 lives and endless curiosity, know exactly what they're doing. And maybe, just maybe, we humans could learn a thing or two from their calm in the face of chaos. Our story takes a deliciously dramatic turn with what can only be described as a full-blown pizza crisis. Imagine the anticipation. You've waited all week for your favorite pizza, the one you've been craving since Monday. The box arrives, piping hot, the aroma filling the room. But as you lift the lid, your heart sinks. Those aren't your toppings. Instead of pepperoni and mushrooms, you're staring at a chaotic medley of pineapple, anchovies, and extra olives. For some, this is a minor inconvenience. For others, it's an outrage of epic proportions. Most people would call the pizzeria, maybe ask for a replacement or a refund, but not this customer. Fueled by righteous indignation and a deep sense of culinary betrayal, they grabbed their phone and dialed 911. Yes, the emergency number. Their complaint? A gastronomic felony had been committed, and only the police could restore justice to their dinner table. On the other end of the line, the police dispatcher listened in disbelief. Was this a prank? No, the caller was completely serious. The dispatcher, barely able to contain their laughter, gently explained that while pizza mishaps are tragic, they don't quite meet the threshold for a police emergency. Pizza quality control, as it turns out, isn't in the police handbook. There would be no SWAT team rappelling through windows to rescue a pizza from extra olives, and certainly no citations issued for the controversial addition of pineapple. The law, it seems, draws the line at food preferences. The caller, still baffled, tried to plead their case. but the police remained firm. Their jurisdiction simply doesn't extend to the world of pizza toppings. With a polite goodbye, the dispatcher hung up, and the police car drove away, leaving the pizza crisis unsolved. Sometimes, a ruined dinner is just that, a disappointment, not a crime. The only thing to do is pick off the offending toppings, salvage what you can, and maybe laugh about it later. In the end, we hope the customer got a refund, a fresh pizza, and maybe a lesson in patience. And as for the dispatcher, they definitely earned a good story to tell, and perhaps even a well-deserved raise for handling the cheesiest emergency call of the week. Losing the TV remote? Modern tragedy, right? For one person it was a full-blown emergency. They called 911 to report their missing clicker. The dispatcher, now a lost-and-found expert, suggested checking the couch cushions. The caller insisted life without the remote was unbearable. No police search party was dispatched, but hopefully the remote turned up, probably right under their nose. Lesson before you call the cops: check your pockets. And maybe the fridge. Bad haircut? We've all been there. But one customer called 911, demanding the stylist be arrested for assault on their bangs. The dispatcher, part therapist, part legal expert, gently explained that bad hair isn't a crime. No fashion police, no sirens, just a lesson in perspective. For this caller, it was a violation of rights. For the rest of us, it's just hair. We hope they found a good hat, and a new salon, and maybe a little patience. Hot day, locked car, melting ice cream, panic. Instead of a locksmith, this person called 911, desperate to save their dessert. The dispatcher, expecting a child or pet emergency, got a dairy dilemma instead. Police don't break into cars for melting Ben & Jerry's, but roadside assistance might. Sometimes a true emergency is all about perspective. We'll never know if the ice cream survived, but the story is legendary. Priorities, people. Feeling lonely? One person called 911 for help with their love life. They hoped the police could play matchmaker, or maybe just needed someone to talk to. The dispatcher, caught between concern and disbelief, explained that dating advice isn't in the police handbook. No background checks on Tinder matches, no emergency dates. It's funny, but also a reminder that loneliness can make us do wild things. We hope they found love, just not through emergency services, and maybe tried a dating app instead. A running toilet sent one homeowner into a panic, so they called 911. The dispatcher, now a plumbing coach, walked them through basic toilet mechanics. No police for plumbing, just a gentle nudge to try the flapper or call a real plumber. Sometimes a little know-how goes a long way. We hope they fixed the leak and learned to jiggle the handle. Not every household disaster is a crime. Stuck in a slow drive-thru? One customer called 911 to report false advertising. The dispatcher, expecting a real emergency, got a complaint about slow burgers. No squad cars for slow fries, no tickets for long orders. The caller was shocked, but the police stayed out of the fast food lane. Sometimes impatience isn't a crime, it's just hungry. We hope they got their food and the dispatcher got a lunch break. Fast food, not emergency food. The laundry monster strikes again, missing socks. One person called 911 to report a string of burglaries by their washing machine. The dispatcher, now a sock detective, suggested maybe the socks were just lost. No missing sock unit, no investigation, just a reminder that some mysteries are unsolvable. The caller wanted justice for their feet. The police suggested buying socks in bulk. Sometimes, you just have to let it go. And maybe check the dryer one more time. Spiders, nightmare fuel for many. One caller, paralyzed by fear, dialed 911 to report a hostile intruder with 8 legs. The dispatcher, now a spider negotiator, explained that police handle human criminals, not arachnids. The caller's panic was real, but the threat was tiny. Sometimes fear makes us forget what's an emergency. We don't know if the spider was caught, but the story crawled into legend. Not all monsters need a SWAT team. From helicopter cats to criminal haircuts, the world is full of strange sights and even stranger stories. But sometimes the most unexpected tales come from the calls made to emergency services. You might be surprised to learn just how many people pick up the phone and dial 911 for reasons that are, well, a little less than urgent. Imagine a world where someone calls the police because their pizza delivery is running late, or because their neighbor's cat looks suspiciously like it's plotting world domination. It sounds like a comedy sketch, but for dispatchers it's just another day at the office. These calls prove that some emergencies are just not. While it might feel urgent in the moment, like when your favorite show won't load or your pet goldfish looks a little sad, these aren't the kinds of situations that require flashing lights and sirens. Yet every year, thousands of calls pour in about missing remote controls, cold fries, or even a neighbor's lawn gnome staring a little too intensely. It's easy to laugh, but these calls can actually tie up the lines and make it harder for real emergencies to get through. 911 is for real crises. Let's keep the lines clear for those who truly need help. When someone's in danger, every second counts. Dispatchers are trained to respond to life-threatening situations, not to track down your missing pizza or settle a debate about who ate the last cookie. By reserving emergency lines for true emergencies, you're helping save lives and making sure help gets to those who need it most, when they need it most. We all have those moments that feel like the end of the world, but sometimes looking back, they're just plain funny. Share your funniest emergencies in the comments below. Maybe you've called your best friend in a panic over a lost sock, or maybe you've witnessed a truly bizarre non-emergency call. We'd love to hear your stories. Let's all have a laugh together, and remember what really counts as an emergency. If you enjoyed this, hit subscribe and ring the bell for more hilarious stories. We're always on the lookout for the wildest, weirdest, and most wonderful tales from everyday life. By subscribing, you'll never miss a moment of the fun, and you'll be the first to know when we share more unbelievable stories from the world of emergency calls and beyond. Dispatchers, we salute you for your patience and professionalism. You handle every call with grace, whether it's a real emergency or just someone worried about their pizza toppings. Your calm voices and quick thinking make a world of difference, and we appreciate everything you do to keep our communities safe and sound. Remember, save your panics for friends, not emergency services. If you're ever in doubt, ask yourself, is this a true emergency, or just a moment to share with someone close? Your friends are there for the little things, and 911 is there for the big ones. Let's all do our part to keep the lines open for those who really need help. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and use 911 responsibly. Remember, a little common sense goes a long way. We'll see you next time with more stories that will make you laugh, think, and maybe even appreciate your local dispatchers just a little bit more.